September on the island of Sorrowstone always brought not only storms, but absolute loneliness. My name is Artyom, and for 7 years now I have been the sole keeper of the lighthouse called Northern Limit. The work is monotonous, cleaning the lenses, maintaining the generator, recording barometer readings. But this year, something changed. It started with the mirrors. There were only 3 mirrors on the island, a small one in my bedroom, one in the bathroom, and the largest one in the engine room, used to monitor the rear mechanisms. I noticed that when I wasn't looking, the mirrors changed position. The one in the bathroom would be turned a few degrees, the one in the engine room slightly tilted. At first, I blamed vibrations from the generator and exhaustion. But one night, during a particularly violent storm, I was standing by the main lens. Outside, there was nothing but a solid wall of rain and fog. Suddenly, I felt a presence. I turned around. In the dark corner of the room, between the generator and the wall, I saw a shadow. It was too dense to be a trick of light, and it looked slightly flattened, as if something were pressing it down to the floor. I blinked, and it was gone. I checked every room, even those that had been locked for decades. Nothing. The next day, I decided to run an experiment. I removed the mirror from my bedroom, placed it face down, and set a heavy cast iron press on top of it. I wrote in the logbook, "Mirror A, immobilized, 1400. At midnight, I was awakened by knocking. Not on the door, inside the walls. A dull, rhythmic thud, 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 as if someone were tapping on the lighthouse's inner lining with their knuckles. I grabbed my flashlight and ran to the bedroom. The press was lying on the floor. The mirror, it was back in its original place on the dresser, and it was angled to reflect the exact corner of the room where my bed stood. Its surface was covered with a thin, barely noticeable film of moisture, even though the room was dry. I started to believe I was going insane from isolation. I decided I needed to talk to someone. I picked up the radio, but the moment I pressed the transmit button, I heard my own voice, very quiet and distorted, saying something like, "He sees you." I released the button. The radio was dead. The next day, I went down to the lowest basement level where coal supplies were stored. There had never been windows there, only bare, wet stone. At the far end, illuminated by my flashlight, I saw it. Scratched into the stone right at eye level were the words, "Do not look back." This was not vandalism. The inscription was old. It could only have been made by one of the previous keepers, the one who, according to the archives, went mad and was evacuated from the island in an incoherent state. My greatest fear came true 2 days later. I was sitting at my desk writing a weather report when I thought I heard a creak in the tower. I didn't want to go up there, but my job is the light. I climbed the spiral staircase to the top, to the engine room with the largest mirror. As I approached it, my anxiety grew. When I entered it, the lighthouse beam was rotating, casting slow-moving shadows. I looked into the mirror, and I did not see myself. In the reflection stood another man, dressed in an old, worn maritime uniform, the kind lighthouse keepers wore a century ago. His eyes were tired and red, and his face was twisted into a quiet, chilling smile. He was standing behind me, less than a meter away, his arms raised as if he were about to embrace me. I screamed and spun around. Nothing. Only the rotating light and the whistle of the wind. Breathing heavily, I looked back at the mirror. This time, my reflection was there, but it looked tired. Its eyes were red. Around its lips was a thin line, the hint of a smile, barely restrained. And then I understood. What I had seen in the mirror was not a ghost. It was my future self, the one I will become when he finishes. He is the keeper. He does not live in the lighthouse. He lives in reflections, and he slowly, imperceptibly replaces me. He wants me to go insane. He wants me to stop looking into mirrors so that he can fully become me. I shattered every mirror on the island. I covered every reflective surface. But I know this is not the end. Every night when I clean the lighthouse lens, perfectly polished glass, I can't help but look into it. And every time I see my eyes growing redder and my smile wider and colder. I no longer know which one of us is looking at the lighthouse light.